Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maria and I am coming to you today from the Dolomites. We are away for the weekend and I thought I would sit down to show you what I brought to knit on, which is always like way too many things. But yeah, this is what I'll be knitting on for the foreseeable future. And I guess I'll give you a brief overview for now and then I'll go more into details in these projects throughout the video. Yeah, the first thing that I brought is a pair of finished socks. These are the Prato Socks, and by the time you're seeing this video, these will be out on Ravelry. The pattern will be available. And they're a pretty simple sock with a fun cuff. So they have little flowers like this that also kind of look like broccoli. And someone also said that they look like cacti, so that's what they look like. The cuff is worked by first doing a long tail cast on, which apparently is very important compared to another type of cast on, which I didn't think about, but one of my testers, or a few of them actually, tried an old Norwegian cast on, which is supposed to be stretchier typically, but for this sock, for some reason, one of them tried both the old Norwegian and the long tail cast on, and she found that the long tail cast on was much more stretchy. And we think that this is because, so right after the cast on, the first round that you work is a series of purl stitches and bobbles. So there's probably something to do, like these bobbles have something to do with the stretchiness, and combined with the old Norwegian cast on, for some reason it's just not as stretchy. So yeah, long tail cast on, highly recommended for this pair. And then yeah, there's a lot of bobbles to work, so if you hate bobbles, this is not for you. But yeah, bobbles, twisted stitches, and a few eyelets. What if I can zoom in to show you the eyelets? I think you can kind of see them. And yeah, the other thing to mention is that, so there are like 3 flowers at the front, 3 at the back, and then on the sides you'll see on Ravelry with the different tester versions, or on Instagram, that there are some more or less columns of twisted stitches depending on the size there on the sides, but at the front and the back it's the same for all the sizes. And then the rest of the sock is just a regular stockinette stitch sock with the little detail here of a lateral braid at the back. At first I wasn't sure if this would be like sensory wise, if this would be annoying on the heel, but I don't feel it when I wear them. Yeah, and it's quite stretchy, so yeah, it's just a little detail that you can obviously leave out if you don't like that. But yeah, so this pattern should be out by the time that this video is live. So I basically just need to do the French translation and put everything online, which can be time consuming. So yeah, let's see when I have the chance to get this done. The other thing that I brought is a new cast on. This was like my New Year's Eve cast on-ish. I think I started maybe on December 30th, and it's this, well, pair, no, it's just one sock for now, of super fluffy socks. I'll talk a bit more about these later, but I'm basically holding 3 strands of mohair, silk mohair, held together. So they're very soft, very cozy. They are going to be hopefully very cozy. And yeah, these have a name that has a bit of a strange origin. I'll talk about this later. And then what else did I bring? I brought my Mohair Blouse. So I almost finished the body. This is where we are. So I think I have like 1 inch left to work here until I can do an I-cord bind off. And then I'll be good to go for the sleeves, which I'm planning to do like kind of bracelet length and a bit like puffy, with also an I-cord bind off. So let's see what I can do with this one. And the other thing that two other things. Well, there's the socks that I think I've shown in a podcast before, but I've completely restarted them. It's the ones with Estonian inlay on both sides of the leg. There were a few things that I wanted to change about this pattern, so I did that and I just restarted, but as you can see, I only did the cuff. So I'm hoping to get a bit of work done on these, because I also changed the chart for the leg motif, and I haven't swatched, so I'm hoping that it's going to look nice. And then the last thing that I brought is just a bag full of yarn scraps, because I need to make a few swatches for a potential upcoming collaboration with a yarn dyer, so I need to swatch a few things to send her some proposals. So yeah, that's what I will be up to this weekend / upcoming week.
Milos. Da, da, da. Ta-ta.
Hello, we are back from the mountains now, and it's the first week back after the holidays, so I'm trying to get back into a routine. And yeah, we are off to a great start. I just filmed this little snippet. I think I talked for probably like 15 minutes, and then I realized that I filmed in slow motion. So yeah. Take two. Yeah, I was saying that I am trying to get back into a routine. This week I have 2 tech edits to do. I have a pattern to release, the Prato Socks, and I also have to send some design proposals to a yarn dyer for a little collaboration coming up. And yeah, I usually start my days with tech editing if I have any tech editing to do, because that's what requires the most brain power. But yeah, before I start that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the mohair socks that I am working on. So as I mentioned before, I am working these with 3 strands of mohair. And yeah, I apologize, the lighting is terrible. It's very gray, raining outside, and the only source of light is my computer monitor, so we'll have to do with that for now. I'll try to take some B-roll to show you the fabric that it's creating, because it's really nice. I'm using 3 different strands, 3 different colors, and so it's creating like this marled effect, which I really like. I'll show you the colors that I'm using. The first one is a burgundy, This is a leftover of Sonder yarn mohair that I had in the color Porter, I believe. Then we have like a burnt orange. This one is I think the shade is 33, but I'm not sure. And then we have a pink. I think this one is, well, it's knitting for olive. I think it's plum rose or plum something. So yeah, together they are creating this fabric. And yeah, I'm really enjoying working on these. It's just a pair of vanilla socks basically, so I'm using my Tela sock pattern, which is a free vanilla sock recipe that I have up on Ravelry. And the only modification that I made, well, aside from using 3 strands of mohair instead of sock yarn, is the heel. So instead of my typical slip stitch heel flap, I just did stockinette. So I think what I'll do is create a Ravelry project with the information on how to modify the heel flap if you want to do the same. Yeah, I think I had the idea to knit this sock when I was working on my Mohair Blouse, and so that one is worked with 1 strand of mohair, and so I had the idea of making socks with mohair, which I've done once before. I made socks with like 1 strand of sock yarn plus a mohair to get like a DK-ish gauge, but those ended up being too small for me, so I gave them to my mom. And yeah, I don't know, I know there's also patterns for making socks with 1 strand of mohair, but I thought that would be a bit too impractical for me. So I decided to hold 3 of them together, and I think it's giving, I didn't check my gauge, but the sock fits normally, so I'm assuming that I'm on the same gauge that I usually have. So the only thing that I'm a bit concerned about is like the durability. I know that both silk and mohair have a lot of good properties to make socks, so let's see, it's just more like the fluffiness of it all that I'm not too sure about. Like, I feel like it's going to become maybe a little bit disgusting at the sole. We'll have to see. But anyways, I'm planning to wear these more as like lounging socks, like in bed at night when my feet are freezing. It's very, very cozy, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be wearing these like out and about for walks. It's going to be more like a home sock, so should be okay. And yeah, the other thing is the name of these socks. I thought I would share them with you. So it's not going to be a pattern, but I think that's just what I'll name them on the Ravelry project page. And actually, so at first these were supposed to be my chicken bone socks because I was eating chicken bones over the holiday. And if you're like, what do you mean you're eating chicken bones, like the bones of a chicken? Don't worry, it's a candy. If you're from Eastern Canada like me, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about. If not, I will show it to you. So it's basically like a candy that we eat around Christmas time, and I had some from that my parents brought from Canada when they came last summer. So this is what the bag looks like. Chicken bones. They are pink. The pink exterior is like a cinnamon hard candy, and in the center, don't know if you can see, in the center there's a bit of dark chocolate, or as they say here, bitter chocolate. So it's one of my favorite like holiday sweets. So yeah, I was eating those while I had the idea when I was working on my Mohair Blouse. And so I went stash diving and picked a few different pink shades that made me think of chicken bones. And so I started that sock. This is what the cuff looks like. So same thing, I picked 3 different strands to marl them together. But I don't know, there was something about it that didn't feel right. Like I wasn't super excited about the color. And I even incorporated here a bit of brown for the chocolate part. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling these, so I decided to put it aside and I went stash diving again for different shades of mohair, and that's where I picked this trio. But yeah, so at first they were supposed to be my chicken bone socks, but that did end up happening. And then, yeah, so this was my like New Year's Eve cast on, and around that time I was not doing great mentally. I had a bit of like a depressive episode, I guess. For me, that can happen when I'm on my period, so I think it's most of the time it's like hormone related, but also coupled to the fact that like during the holidays I didn't have my regular routine, and you know, interacting with more people than usual doesn't give me like the time to calm down, I guess, by myself. So all of that together, just it wasn't a fun time. So yeah, I cast these on, and when that was happening, and then usually what I'll do to get out of these episodes, first thing, moving my body really helps. So I did a lot of yoga, walking, stretching, nothing too crazy, but just to move my body a little bit, and meditating. And so one night, I typically do like guided meditations before going to bed, and like 90% of the time they make me fall asleep. But this one, for some reason, like really captivated me. And so I did it like the whole way through, and after I couldn't sleep because I was like kind of like on a high. But yeah, it was a guided meditation. I'll link it down below if I can do that. Guided meditation about self-love. And so in the beginning, the lady is like instructing you, I guess, to think of like something or someone like in your life that day that like brought you joy, that was loving. And my mind went straight to a little puppy that we saw on our walk that day. So we were walking Milos, the in-laws dog that you might see in a few videos, or have seen, I mean, in a few of my previous videos. So we were walking him, and then we came across this sweet little puppy. He was, I don't know, black and tiny. I have no idea what breed it was, but he was just so loving. And because Milos is a big black lab, and so he can be quite intimidating for other dogs, but this little puppy was just so sweet. He wanted to interact with him and with us. So yeah, I thought about this puppy during my meditation. And then, so basically after we were guided to like feel that, I don't know if I'll be explaining this right, but like feel that love and then try to like expand it outside of our bodies. And so the lady was referring to your field of love, which apparently like you can measure the bioenergetic field of the heart. I don't know how that works, but she was referring to that as the field of love. And then we had to kind of imagine like what that looks like or feels like in your body, this field of love, and my mind went straight to the sock that I was knitting on. I don't know if it's because of the fluffiness of the puppy and then the fluffiness of the sock, but at that point I think I was like, where was I? Like here in my sock. So I had just like turned the heel and I was doing the gusset decreases. So it was kind of looking, wait, I'll grab another sock, kind of looking like this. And so I just pictured myself like inside my sock with like my head just sticking out here, just like enveloped in this sock, in this field of love. Which I thought was a fun visual. I don't know. But yeah, so that's why I decided to name these my Field of Love socks. Yeah, enough rambling, I guess. Now I'll get to work and I'll come back later to chat about my other projects. Alright, I've been quite productive this morning, so I thought I would now sit down and knit a little bit on this blouse. So, if you saw my Vlogmas episodes, this was supposed to be my Christmas blouse, but I didn't get it done on time. But yeah, now I'm thinking that it could be a spring pattern. This is the type of garment that I currently don't have in my wardrobe that I would love to have for the spring. And now I'm thinking that I may also do a second version with a thicker yarn. Just because I don't think everyone wants to make a sweater with one strand of mohair. And yeah, I've been thinking about whether this should become a design or not. And a big part of me is saying that it's not necessary because there's already a few designs out there that look a bit similar. It's essentially a stockinette stitch sweater with a few little details. I think I need to stop thinking that way. Like I should just design the things I want to design, which are often things that I want to wear, and there are often things that I make myself because I don't find exactly what I've been looking for online in an already existing pattern. So chances are that a few other people will also want to make it if they are also looking for this type of garment. So yeah, the second version I'm planning to make in a white yarn. And so for this one, the mohair one, I have the scalloped edge at the collar, and then I'm planning to do I-cords at the wrist, the cuff, and the hem. And so for the white version, what I'll probably do is the opposite, so an I-cord at the neckline, and then I'll try to see if I can like reverse engineer the scalloped edge to make it top down, because right now you start with that, then you fold it, and then you continue knitting, but I haven't tested it yet with like knitting, then doing the scalloped edge and folding it and sewing that down. So I will have to see how I can do that. But yeah, so that second version would be okay, white blouse with the I-cord edge at the neck and the scallops on the cuffs and the hem. So yeah, I think that they would be different enough so that they both can get a lot of use in my wardrobe. And I also don't have did I already mention this? I don't remember. I don't have a lot of spring knits that I can wear, so it would also be nice to have two other things that I get to wear during the spring. Yeah, I'm making an I-cord right now and I am struggling a little bit to talk at the same time. But yeah, I think that's it now for this blouse. I'm just making the I-cord edge on the bottom and then I'll be ready to put the sleeve stitches back on the needles to start the sleeves. Now it's time to eat, and then I will probably go out on a walk with the dog if it's nice enough. I think it stopped to rain, so we should be good. One biscotto for you. And one Catucci for me. It's raining. Bye. Hello. So yesterday, just a quick update on what I have been knitting on. Yesterday I was knitting on my Mohair Blouse and I was ready to bind off using an I-cord bind off. So that is done. Almost, actually. I put the last 3 stitches on a stitch marker like this to graft them later on. I wanted to try it on first to see if the fit was good, and it looks good. So yeah, it's curling up a little bit right now, so I'm hoping that the blocking will fix this. And same for the little petal scallops things at the neckline. I'm hoping that with blocking it's going to lie flat, otherwise I'll put an elastic inside or something like that. And I also put my sleeve stitches back on the needles and I am knitting away. So that's going well, it's moving forward. Today is hopefully Prato release day, so the Prato Socks. Let's see, I made a to-do list and we need to finish the French translation, which I started yesterday. And by the way, last time that I talked about this, I said that for the moment I only translate my patterns in French because that's the only other language that I can do myself. And I had a few people reach out to offer their services for translating patterns, which is amazing. Thank you so much. But yeah, for the moment, I think that I'm just not there yet. Like, I don't make enough money on these patterns to afford translations. So maybe down the line, but yeah, thanks anyways. It's very appreciated. So yeah, I need to finish the French translation. Then I need to create the final PDF files for both the English and French versions. Then I need to finalize the Ravelry listing with the pictures and then do the same thing on PayHip because I like to offer an alternative to Ravelry for the people who can't use Ravelry. So those 2 things, and then I will have to go live on Ravelry, go live on PayHip, and then once that happens, the work is not done. You need to tell people that your pattern is out there. So what I usually do is post a little reel or pictures on Instagram and something to YouTube. So this time it will be this vlog. And yeah, from there, what else do I need to do? I need to send the final pattern to the testers. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm probably forgetting some things. I typically will make this list because otherwise I forget things. There's like a lot of things to keep in mind. And then as I go, I remember other things that I need to do, so it piles on there. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can get everything done today. I'll probably be able to get everything done, maybe except posting the vlog. That might wait until tomorrow, but let's see how it goes. And for the occasion, I am wearing my socks. I decided to dress up a little bit. And by dressing up, I mean I just piled on the wool layers. I'm wearing my wool sewn dress that I made last time in the last vlogs. And my Prato Socks, of course. And this one is a sweater that I made over a year ago now, I think. It was like in my first podcast episode, I think. So it's like a mix of the Mimi by Marie-Christine Lévesque. So like the yoke is the Mimi, and then I adapted it to add the tulip hem to the sweater. Alright, and then the last thing I'll chat about is this sock in the making. I believe I have talked about it before. Actually, I'll go get the first version because I'm changing a few things. Alright, so this was the first version that I've shown previously. Looks like this. So you can see that it looks similar, except I think I made the ribbing a little bit longer on the new version, and I added a little flower here at the top. At first I thought I would add it inside the ribbing here, but then I think it would have been too complicated to write the instructions to like do the Estonian inlay inside the ribbing, so I decided to start just after. And then the heel on here I wasn't super happy about because so the pattern is on each side of the sock, so like this is the front of the sock, and then the motif here runs along the side. And since it's like a very linear pattern, like there's literally a line that goes down the center, it looked kind of strange with the heel that I did. So it looks like dink dink, which I don't love. So this was just like a regular slip stitch heel flap and sole gusset. And I was actually really happy with my sole gusset, how it turned out, the look of it. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of like how the pattern kind of like breaks there in this spot. And also I was knitting this on 2.5 millimeter needles, and so the yarn is like a bit thinner than what I'm used to for a sock yarn. This is the Woollentwine Ovis, by the way, and the little contrast color that I'm using is like a fluffy, it's the Lucia by Holst Garn. It's a mix of like, I don't remember what exactly, there is yak inside and other fibers. But yeah, so this yarn is a bit on the thinner side, and I was noticing that at the bottom of the foot, the fabric created was a bit too gapey, is that the word? Like not dense enough essentially. So for the newer version, I went down one needle size, so I'm on 2.25 millimeter needles, and I'm changing the heel. So I don't know if you can tell, but I started to make increases here, and this is a new heel construction for me, so I'm testing it out. I don't know if it will work out, but let's see. So my plan is to make like increases for to get more space for your heel, then probably a few short rows to like shape the bottom of the heel, and then decreases, like kind of like a regular gusset. So let's see if it works out. But this is what it looks like so far. I think I also changed one of the little motifs because it's like a, so this flower is unique and then it's like a 4 flower repeat. So this is the repeat and they're all different. And there was one of them on this side that, yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but here, this float was like too long with this little flower, so I decided to redesign that 4th flower and to get a maximum of 4 stitches for the floats. So I think it looks a little bit better now. But yeah, I'm also curious to swatch this motif with a non-fluffy yarn because right now I really like the effect that it gives. It's like kind of blurry, like the definition is not super crisp, and I do enjoy that, but I'm curious to see what it would look like with just 1 strand, for example, of fingering weight yarn, or 2, maybe that would be better. Let's see. But yeah, so this is on the needles. I am slowly working on this. And yeah, this should be the next design that I'll be working on after the Prato release. Now, let's get to work. Doing the translation is not my favorite part at all, but it's always very useful. It's the last step before publishing a pattern, and I always find tiny mistakes still. Like, I've looked at this pattern many times before, my tech editor has looked at it, the test knitters have looked at it, and still I find like tiny things. Like there's a with yarn and bag abbreviation that is not in my abbreviation list. So it just goes to show that there will always be tiny things like that, and it's normal to miss them, and I'm happy to have found it. But yeah, it's normal if you are following a pattern and you notice these little things. It happens. Look at my lazy colleagues. Sleeping on the job. So it was a lot of work, but it's finally released. Now I just need to go post about it on Instagram and edit this vlog to put on YouTube. And yeah, I never usually ask for this, but if you want to help out, just looking at the pattern on the Ravelry page helps a lot. If you want to leave a little like on the pattern also helps. So yeah, and I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao.